Okay, technical glitch number one. All right, hopefully you're still with me. Technical glitch number one, it's already happened. Apologies. So I'm just going to go over that again, just in case we weren't actually live. So my name's Ali Rahmani. I'm the digital health coach here at Hogue Foothill Ranch. Tonight we're going to be talking about owning your health. So I'm essentially going to be introducing the idea behind the tech bar here at Foothill Ranch, which you may have seen if you've been here. It's that bar with all the iPads and the Apple Watches, and talking about my role and giving you little tips on how you can own your health. So, what is a digital health coach? This is a new role at Hogue, launched at Foothill Ranch. And the idea behind it is, so you may be familiar with the lifestyle program where the physicians here will refer you to them and you get health coaching, you get a workout at a state-of-the-art gym, you spend time with a dietitian. So this is, I guess, in conjunction with that to some extent, but also standalone. And my role really is to help you get the optimal use of devices and apps. So there's a lot out there right now as far as, fitness and diet and weight loss and all sorts of ways that your phone, your watch, and the apps that are available on them can help you with your health and wellness journey. So it can be a little difficult to sift through it. So my job is essentially to kind of have a good idea of what's going on out there, and then I can help you depending on what your goals are. So we're going to talk a little bit about public health history, just briefly. So as you can see from this graph, around the turn of the 20th century, infectious diseases were the highest cause of death in the US. So we've got tuberculosis at the top, pneumonia, diarrhea at the third, heart disease doesn't feature until the fourth, and it was at around 8%. What we started to see around the 60s onwards, really, was a huge shift as we started to get control of infectious diseases. Chronic diseases started to come through as leading causes of death. So obviously now COVID-19 is probably going to feature fairly high up the list, but this general trend brought chronic disease into the spotlight. So heart disease is the biggest killer in the US, followed by cancer, strokes, chronic lung conditions. And one thing about chronic diseases is many of them can be lifestyle diseases. So many studies have been done looking into how lifestyle can affect chronic disease. And the way you live, the way you move, the way you eat, the way you sleep, etc., can help us to, one, avoid chronic diseases in the future, and also, in some cases, to even reverse them, but at the very least, to control them. If you look at studies by Dr. Dean Ornish, for example, he actually managed to reverse heart disease in his study that he carried out in the 60s. It's very interesting, so give him a Google if this kind of stuff tickles your fancy. So according to the CDC, best ways to prevent chronic disease: quit smoking, we're all familiar with that one, I think. Eating healthy, getting regular physical activity, avoiding drinking too much alcohol, getting screened regularly, getting enough sleep, and knowing your family history. So as you'll see from that list, quite a lot of those are within our daily control. It's something that we can personally work on. Another big factor in chronic disease coming on is stress. And stress is an entirely normal aspect of life. A little bit of it is very healthy, but chronic stress can be problematic. So this study that I've cited here, it discusses how chronic stress affects our brain structure, our immune system, our endocrine function, and our organ function. So modern life, the way we've been living, is like a sort of perpetual state of stress. Once that stress almost becomes like the norm, once it becomes chronic, that can be problematic. It's just disruptive under the skin, essentially. So when we've got those little changes, the little elements of our brain structure, immune system, endocrine function, organ function that stress affects, that can take us away from what we call homeostasis, which is like balance, and can lead to the onset of chronic disease. So what can we do? Of that list from the CDC, the 4 things that really are within our hands, the things that we can do on a daily basis that we have some control of. We can eat better. And the way that apps and wearable devices can help us with this is we can track our nutrition, so you can track the calories you're taking in. You can make sure you're getting enough protein, enough of whichever nutrient you're focused on. We can also have access to lots of healthy recipes, ideas. You know, as we all know, it's a problem. My wife and I are always having that sort of, what should we eat? What should we make? And then you get so hungry, and the easy way just becomes so much more appealing. So just getting those ideas in early, having a big kind of supply of recipe ideas, for example. We can move more. And I mean, for this, there's almost too many options in the digital world. It's difficult to even know where to start. I mean, it feels like every device available these days is tracking your steps. And then there are in-home exercise options. You can do yoga through your phone, through your Apple TV, through your Roku, whatever it is. So a huge amount of options now, especially in the past 2 years where so many of us were at home for so long and where options for going out weren't quite so available. This is now, it has increased the options, and there's just so much out there to choose from. Sleeping better, that's something that I think is a very common problem with the clients that I see, is we tend not to prioritize sleep. And a lot of us are kind of just getting by on 4, 5, 6 hours a night because we're so busy, because there's so much we want to get done, because sometimes we're so busy we need that time to wind down in the evening. So working on our sleep hygiene, and again, tracking sleep through all these apps that are available, it's another way just to be mindful of it and to be able to improve our sleep. Now, stressing less, again, this one is very close to my heart. I really do believe if we all take 10 minutes a day, no more. If you have more, great. But as little as 10 minutes a day can make a profound difference to how you feel and to your health in general. So actively taking steps to reduce stress, to address that chronic stress state that so many of us reach these days. And again, there is a lot of tech and digital support for this. There are meditation apps, there are mindfulness apps. Again, there are yoga apps. So a lot of these are interchangeable because ultimately, yeah, exercise is also great for stress. Eating badly can increase stress. So they're not all kind of perfect circles. They all intersect to some extent. So what are the apps that we often talk about here, that we often suggest to our patients and clients? So for eating better, Noom is quite popular. Noom is an interesting one. They try to look at the psychology of why we eat, why we overeat, when we eat, and kind of get under the skin of cravings. And it's interesting if you're kind of analytical in that way. If that's what floats your boat, it's very interesting. Fujicate is a really great resource that essentially collates any information that is available publicly about what nutrients are in different types of food. So whether it's, kind of branded packaged food or, a cucumber or an apple, it'll tell you what's in it, from calories, nutrients, vitamins, etc. So it's a great way to keep an eye on what our intake is. MyFitnessPal has been popular for a really long time. That one is again, kind of keeping an eye on what your intake is with a little more focus on weight loss and calories. Not necessarily the fuller nutritional picture, although not that it still does, but it is more widely used for that reason. And 8Fit, again, it's more of a fitness app, but it does have a nutritional component. For moving more, so a lot of the fitness ones have free options. And then of course, as with everything else, there's a subscription option where you get that little bit more. And a lot of these subscription options with these apps really are quite affordable. We're talking anywhere from sort of $30 to $100 a year. Numa's a little more expensive because it's very tailored and it gives you a lot. Every day there's something coming at you. That one's a little more expensive, but a lot of them are very affordable. And even if you don't want to be spending money, the free versions are a great option. So Freeletics, Nike Training Club, and 8Fit, really all of them offer workouts. Anything from kind of 5 minutes up. So depending how much time you have, there's different focus. So there might be a strength focus, there might be HIIT type classes where you're doing intervals where you're getting your heart rate up and then coming back down and up and coming back down. There will be yoga options, and I personally live in the Apple world. Apple Fitness Plus is another great one. They have rowing, treadmill, walking. So when it comes to the fitness apps, really it's going to boil down to which devices are kind of already in your life, which realm you're already in, and then what works for you. What is the easiest thing for you to get up and do? What do you enjoy? For sleeping better, so Calm and Headspace, which are very much in the decreasing stress category, really, but obviously if we are maintaining our focus on keeping stress at healthy levels, that's going to have a positive knock-on effect on our sleep. Sleep Cycle is an app that's quite popular. It tracks essentially how deep your sleep is. So it gives you your whole sleep cycle. It can be on your phone, and you would put it on the corner of your mattress so it can detect how much movement there is. Or if you have a smartwatch of any kind, it can be on the smartwatch, and then it's going to be just that little bit more accurate. But it'll track your sleep, it'll let you know kind of when you're at what stage. You get these really cool graphs. It's really interesting, again, if that floats your boat. And then stressing less. So we've got Calm, we've got Headspace. Those really are the two sort of market leaders, I suppose, in meditation and mindfulness. And they've even started to throw in some mindful movement and a little bit of yoga as well. So these are both really great apps and fantastic for beginners who have never done anything to do with meditation or mindfulness before, and great for experienced, seasoned meditators. But like I said, not even 10 minutes. I mean, I'm sure both of them, but I'm more familiar with Calm personally. You can take 7 minutes a day on Calm, and it will have a profound difference. So these are two of my favorites. I recommend these to everybody. They really are great apps. And really, if you can find that 10-minute window to dedicate to being still, mindful, just decreasing that stress, checking in with yourself, you will be amazed at how quickly you notice the difference. And then another nice little app, My Possible Self. This, I think, was developed by the NHS in the UK. It's a little more broadly a mental health app. So with that one, you can check in every day. There's little journaling options. There's kind of inspirational quotes, but it's a little more, I suppose, in-depth than just, so with Calm and Headspace, you're getting on there, you're doing the meditation or the mindfulness class or the yoga class or whatever it is, and then, you're kind of leaving it till the next day or till that evening. They have some really great bedtime stories for both kids and adults, just for the record. But My Possible Self is a little more kind of, I suppose, interactive. I think it's all, I hesitate to call it a journal. It's not a journal. And I know that journaling can put people off sometimes, but it's more in that direction, if that makes sense. But with all of these, all of them have free trials, free options. Download them, check them out, pop in to see me at the tech bar. We can talk about them. I can show you how they work. Really great options. So the World Health Organization tells us that health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. And I think this is really important, a really important point. And this idea of integrating mind and body and seeing ourselves as a whole and looking after ourselves as a whole is key in this day and age. We want to be moving, eating better, stressing less, and sleeping better. All of those things are going to come together and really help us with our health and wellness goals. And as I think I have made clear, as we've talked, I really, really believe this little snippet on the right, the little things we can do every day, like eating well, moving more, prioritizing sleep, and managing stress, can have a profound impact on our overall health. And when I say as little as 10 minutes a day, I mean, really, try me out. Try it out. I have just realized that the presentation was on full screen that whole time, so apologies, but hi, here I am. It was meant to be on full screen for the middle part, but you were supposed to see me at the start as well. But here I am. Now you can put a face to the voice if you have not been in to Foothill Ranch before and we haven't met. But I thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope it's been useful. Please pop in and see me at Foothill Ranch. Come down to the tech bar if any of this stuff is interesting to you. If you'd like to learn any more about it, I'm really passionate about this stuff. I would love to talk to you about it more. And thank you again for joining me this evening. Have a great night.